So, welcome back to Faithful Friday. For the first case for this week, we are going back to New Jersey. So we're going to start with Nakira. Nakira was born on May 6, 1994. It doesn't say when or even where or how old she is, but she winds up meeting this man named Daniel Joshua Griner, who she eventually winds up marrying. They eventually wind up having a son named Daniel Jr., so he's named after his father, as people do. He is born March 7, 2017. So his hobbies were listed as chasing his parents around the house, eating Cheetos, watching Shrek, and playing with his toys. But on the fateful day of February 8th, 2019, so about a month before Daniel Jr. was due to turn 2 years old, Nakira would call police basically saying that she was in the park walking her two sons when she was attacked from behind, of course, and then Daniel Jr. got abducted. And apparently her infant son, because she had a separate kid, the infant son was, of course, strapped to the chest, whereas Daniel Jr. was apparently in a stroller. So that's how they were able to abduct him. But had the infant child not been strapped to her chest, they probably would have taken him too. So then she gets taken to the police station to answer more questions, try to figure out what happened so we can help you get this missing child back. And then she's inconsistent with the answers that she gives to the questions that they're asking. They say, can you take a polygraph test for us? She gets defensive. And then apparently she is questioned again. And then she reveals in this part of questioning that Daniel Jr., the little almost 2-year-old, he refused to eat his food. So she would then claim that the infant son was also rejecting food. So she thought that, maybe they're both sick. So then she claims that this is where she would go to Walgreens to go get some Pedialyte so they could get better and eventually get back to eating like normal. So then she claims that while she's on the way doing this is when she's attacked from behind and Daniel Jr. is abducted. So then the detectives, understandably, they're starting to be a little suspicious of Nakira because, your story's not adding up. Like, you making up different stories. So, they ask her, did you have anything to do with, why Daniel Jr. is missing? She denies this, and then they tell her, look, there's literally surveillance video of you after you call 911 of you just casually walking down the street like nothing's wrong. So then she immediately asked for a lawyer, and then eventually they pull her husband in, I guess, to get to, if we bring the husband in, maybe it'll get her to talk. And it doesn't say exactly what they talked about or even how long they talked, but after they talked, she agreed to a polygraph test, which of course, she fails. So she would then tell a story that she apparently had dropped Daniel, apparently by accident. He had fell down the stairs. So then, of course, there's going to be blood, and she grabbed clothes from, the laundry to, clean up said blood, and then she left him in the stroller in hopes that he would get medical attention, because obviously if you see just some random lone child that's bleeding and obviously needed help, there's going to be a good Samaritan that calls 911 and gets him medical attention. She then admits to detectives that there were previous bruises that she had basically inflicted on Daniel in the past for him not eating his food, and that apparently he had told her what he was and wasn't going to do. And then despite this, she then says that she has no idea where his body is. So now it's from a missing child to a body, because apparently her words, she said his body. And then detectives say that there is surveillance and that Daniel Jr. will eventually be found. The next day, investigators decide to go to the house where Nakira and Daniel Jr. and all of them were living. And then they see that all the windows are open and there's a burning smell, so it's already suspicious in itself. And apparently around 3 a.m., they sadly find the remains of Daniel burned and dismembered and some trash bags underneath the shed. They also find a purse that was said to confirm to belong to Nakira. And apparently there were some Ugg boot footprints, and apparently those were the boots that she was wearing. So then, of course, after all this evidence, Nakira is obviously arrested. The autopsy for Daniel Jr. came back that his cause of death was, in fact, being beaten. So, of course, Nakira, she was charged with murder, disturbing human remains, endangering the welfare of a child, tampering with evidence, and causing a false public alarm. Because remember, she was acting innocent, saying that, my child's missing, when in reality her child was dead. So obviously that's going to cause public alarm, because the child is also 2. So people are going to be out looking for him, as people naturally do. So then, of course, Daniel Sr., he now has to have funeral expenses for his child, because his wife and the mother said child. So he goes on GoFundMe and apparently asked for $10,000. And I didn't see exactly how much money of that $10,000 was raised, and how they even paid for the funeral, if at all. So then her defense lawyer says that Nakira was basically under psychosis at the time of the crime, basically saying she didn't know what she was doing. So then she gets cleared in mid 2019, I think June-ish. And then in October 3rd of 2020, the judge basically says that everything that she told y'all while she was being questioned, yeah, y'all can't use that in court because apparently she wasn't read her rights, so I assume like her Miranda rights, and then self-incrimination. So then in October of 2021, she rejects a plea deal where she was only supposed to take 30 years if she pled guilty to the murder charge. So then I guess she thought she was going to get a shorter sentence. So then in February of this year, so February 2023, she gets life in prison without parole. So yeah, like I said, that's pretty much all I have for this case. Sadly, like rest in peace to Daniel Jr. Condolences go out to his family, especially his father, having to raise the funeral expenses and find out that your own wife and the mother of that child was behind the one who did it. So I can only imagine how he feels. So definitely know your thoughts down below. If you knew anyone involved in this case, definitely let me know. Do you think that she was under psychosis, or did she know what she was doing? Again, all thoughts are welcome down below. Just try to be at least somewhat respectful, because YouTube guidelines. And so with that being said, I'll see you guys next time.
So if I play dead, will you regret everything that you did, that you said? I don't think you understand what you're doing, and my heart's black and blue from the bruising. I feel like when I'm with you I'm losing. I feel like you think that this amusing, sitting there gaslighting and confusing. Was it me? Is it me? Am I deluded? I'm the one who's always sorry, the conclusion.